In this video, I will talk about the Tesla stock price fluctuation and the prediction of the weekly high and weekly low. I was sick during the past several weeks. I haven't posted videos in the last 2 weeks. So this is a Tesla weekly chart and this is a Tesla daily chart. So if you are not familiar with this kind of trend lines and charts, so for example, if you select a weekly chart, so that means each vertical bar is 1 week's fluctuation of the actual stock price, and this kind of yellow trend line and blue trend lines are the predicted resistance and support based on the prediction model. And the daily chart, that means each vertical bar is 1 day's fluctuation price, and this kind of trend lines are also based on the prediction model, the predicted weekly high and the weekly low, or daily high or daily low, depends on what time frame you choose. So during the last week, so this is the last week's fluctuation. There's a big fluctuation. And the daily chart, you can see during the latter of a week, Thursday and Friday, there's also a big drop. So last Wednesday, and it closed here and below this yellow trend line, so it also has a decreasing trend. So right now you can see this kind of increasing trend already showed relatively flat. So that means the increasing momentum have already significantly decreased. And then on Thursday it opened low, and opened low also below this bottom blue trend line, so that's a very bad sign. So because it's opened low and also below this bottom trend line, so at this kind of a scenario, each blue trend lines will also becomes a resistance. So when it opened here, it also tried to push up a little bit, but you can see it can't. It almost touches this blue trend line, but it can't break through this blue trend line, and then started to have a decreasing trend. And that day, it has a very big drop because a lot of people are feared of that, feared of this kind of a trend. So many people sell the stock, and there's also is a kind of oversold the stocks, and so the stock price dropped a lot, and even below this blue trend line. So sometimes for some occasional scenario, it may drop down below this bottom blue trend line, or sometimes if it has very strong momentum, it may increase above this top yellow trend line. For this kind of situation, it's kind of just depends on that kind of a strong momentum, and it carried over. So on Thursday, it has a strong decreasing momentum and had a continuous drop just below this blue trend line. So after a certain time, and it will still move back into this kind of trend lines. So it's a kind of have some kind of a self-adjustment, and because when it dropped to a certain level, some people may take advantage of those kind of a low price and still want to buy it, and then the stock price will still start to increase. So you can see at that time it started to increase a little bit more. So on Thursday, and started to increase a little bit more, so many people are also excited and may started to buy. And on Friday, and it opened high, it opened high compared to the opening price on Friday and the closing price of Thursday. That's this tick and this tick. So on Friday it opened high, and you can see it moved inside this kind of trend lines, and also 2 trend lines above the end of the Thursday. So but you know, when it opened high and this price is still relatively close to this yellow trend line, so for this kind of a strong decreasing trend, for this kind of a trend lines, decreasing trend, when it opened high and also close to this yellow trend line, it will still have a very strong decreasing momentum and started to still decrease and retest the low price. So on Friday it's still open here, open high, and continuously also have a continuous drop. So when you see it dropped to here or to here, it looks like so on daily chart it looks like still trying to reach the bottom trend line, and started to increase a little bit and increase up to this blue trend lines. So this kind of low on last week and also on this kind of a daily, you can see this exactly dropped down to this bottom blue trend line of the weekly chart exactly. So if you zoom in this a little bit, you can see it dropped almost down to this blue trend line, the bottom blue trend line, and started to increase a little bit, and still reached to this bottom trend line, and also have resulted in the weekly low. So the next week the fluctuation range is expected to be around this price, that's 246, and at least up to this $264. So this is the weekly the yellow trend line. So if it has still have a very strong increasing momentum, it may have a tendency to increase up to this 278, but general fluctuation range is at least cover this this 246 and about 278. So this is a weekly fluctuation range of the next week, for the coming week. So the early next week is probably may open around this $260 and may still have a little bit more tendency to decrease and fluctuate around this range. Around this range, $248 and $260. So this is the early week. So if you change it to monthly chart, so actually during the past week or past 1 or 2 weeks, so when it opened here for this month, so I also expected it will decrease, drop it down to this yellow trend line on this monthly chart. So if you zoom in this a little bit, you can see it dropped down to this yellow trend line and breaks down yellow trend line, but it's still fluctuate around this price. So it could become a temporary support for this yellow trend line. So it may have some kind of a temporary rebound, but this is still could have a risk, so that it may break down through this yellow trend line. So if it can support at around this price, it may have a tendency to drop it down to this $238 to this blue trend line. So it still have a kind of risks fluctuation around this price range. So if you are interested in this kind of analysis and evaluation, you are welcome to subscribe Uping Stock Trend Prediction channel or watch more video in YouTube.